This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, several people shot at 3 different locations in Palms. We're live with the latest on the investigation.
Suge Knight is ordered to stand trial on murder and attempted murder charges, then ends up in the hospital again.
And new development today following a local judge's controversial decision to reduce the sentence of a sex offender. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. And we begin with that breaking news in Palms. A series of attacks there leave 1 person dead and several others injured.
There are at least 3 different crime scenes right off the 10 freeway. Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand is live in Palms with the breaking details. Jory?
Yeah, guys, this was a wild scene here about 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're at Woodbine Park. That's those trees you see behind us. It left 1 victim dead. That body still remains here at the scene. Witnesses here say things began calm. There were a few men in the park talking. It sounded like they were friends when things turned in an instant. That turned to gunfire, and that left 2 victims here. One of those was found dead at the scene. Another was taken to the hospital. Then, a few minutes later, there was reports of a second shooting just about a block away. That victim was in critical condition. He was taken to the hospital as well, but this was not done from there. A third scene was reported. That was at a 7-Eleven a few blocks away in the other direction. 2 more victims there. They have both been taken to the hospital. So in all, 5 victims were found. 1 of them is dead. 1 is in critical condition. 3 more are in stable condition. 1 of those victims is about to be released from the hospital if they haven't already. But here's a little bit of what the LAPD had to say about this incident a short time ago.
Upon arrival, they saw 2 victims down. 1 was responsive, 1 was not responsive. They requested 2 rescue ambulances from LAFD to respond. 1 was pronounced here at the scene, and 1 was transported to a local hospital.
It sounded like 7 or 8. It sounded like firecrackers. Yeah, I thought it was just fireworks at first, and I was just like, what the hell just happened?
That's unfortunate, but that's not the norm in this area. This is a pretty quiet little area, Palms. A lot of kids and their families playing in that park, including today.
Now, Palms Elementary School, which is just about a block from the initial scene, was put on lockdown briefly this afternoon, but that was quickly lifted. As for the rest here, suspect is still on the loose. Police have not released a description of the suspect. And as for the 3 shootings, they haven't even officially tied those 3 together, but given their proximity and their time, they do believe all 3 are related. We're just waiting for an update here from the LAPD. For now, live in Palms, Jory Rand, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Jory. Dry and windy conditions are keeping fire crews busy today. A number of brush fires have been fueled by Santa Ana winds. One of the largest fires was in Jurupa Valley, where 1 home was destroyed and several others injured, or damaged rather. In Whittier, about 3 acres were scorched near Kalima Road. There were no injuries or damages to those structures. The winds have calmed down, but a red flag warning is still in effect for parts of Southern California until 8 p.m. Let's go to meteorologist Dallas Raines for a look at how long we'll be dealing with these hot and dry conditions.
That's right, and thank you, Ellen. We're looking tonight down at Long Beach, where it's been a beautiful day today. You can see Catalina Island out there. We're going to see a change in the weather pattern starting this weekend, and we still remains a red flag warning in effect for about another 45 minutes or so, and that covers most of the western San Fernando Valley, all of our friends up in Ventura County and Santa Clarita. If you're viewing tonight from down in Orange County, you're in the clear, and also out toward the Riverside area, red flag warnings have been discontinued this evening. So the winds are backing down, and a big change is coming. I actually have some rain in the 7-day forecast. I'll have that in just a minute.
Thank you, Dallas.
Okay.
And to get the latest weather alerts and more, you can download the ABC7 Mega Doppler app and put the power of the Mega Doppler and the ABC7 weather team right in your pocket. It's free and available in the App Store and Google Play. Just search all one word, Mega Doppler.
All right, we're going to get to breaking news right now in Century City. There you see it. This is a building that's several stories high right off of Santa Monica Boulevard, the 10,000 block of Santa Monica Boulevard. We're getting reports that that is a crane you're looking at. It's partially green, and then there you see the rest of the main structure. It has collapsed for some reason. We don't know what the reason might be. We don't know if it's, there's a gentleman right there trying to do some direction. But the most important part is that we don't believe that there are any injuries. The fire department tells us that everybody has been accounted for, nobody is hurt, but that large crane at the very top of that building has collapsed for some reason. We don't know why. The investigation is underway. As we get more information, we'll bring it to you. Former rap mogul Suge Knight is back in jail today. He was rushed to the hospital Today, just moments after a judge ruled that he'll stand trial for murder, accused of running down two men in his truck back in January. Eyewitness News reporter Robert Olguin was in the courthouse.
Marion Suge Knight was ordered to stand trial on charges of murder and attempted murder and felony hit and run, but his bail was reduced from $25 million to $10 million.
I think it's a fair reaction to the weakness of the people's case.
Matt Fletcher is Knight's defense attorney. He says his client was ambushed by gang members armed with guns outside this Tam's Burgers in Compton on January 29th. But prosecutors say Knight intentionally ran over two men, killing 55-year-old Terry Carter and critically injuring Clee Bone Sloan. Both men had been working on a promotional shoot for the upcoming film Straight Outta Compton.
He mentioned that they were speaking of a gun being present.
Toy Kelly is Knight's fiancée.
He heard them verbally saying that they were going to shoot him.
Knight surrendered several hours after the fatal hit and run in Compton. Prosecutors say what had been a fistfight turned fatal when Knight used his truck as a deadly weapon. But Knight's defense attorney maintains that the other men in the parking lot were armed and that a handgun is visible in surveillance video that was obtained by TMZ.
It's obvious it was a gun, and I think that, and I know we'll be able to prove that because we have a couple witnesses already.
But today, Judge Ronald Cohen said, "It appears to me this was not an attempt to escape, but an attempt to murder." Earlier this week, the prosecution called on Sloan, who refused to identify Knight as the driver of the truck that hit him. In court, Sloan said he would not be used as a snitch. Knight was once again hospitalized shortly after today's hearing with an unspecified medical condition. He is due back in court on April 30th for an arraignment. His bail now stands at $10 million, reduced from a previous bail of $25 million. Reporting from downtown LA, Robert Olguin, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A Culver City man has pled not guilty to charges of repeatedly sexually assaulting a 15-year-old girl with autism held captive in his home. He is being held on $12 million bail. 33-year-old Samuel Duran Jr. appeared in court today charged with a dozen counts of sexual abuse. The victim disappeared from her Mar Vista neighborhood March 24th. She was rescued by LAPD officers Monday when she made a call for help that was traced to his home. If convicted, Duran faces 15 years to life in prison.
Orange County is appealing a controversial decision by a judge. Judge M. Mark Kelly reduced the state-mandated sentence of 25 years to 10 years for a defendant who sexually assaulted a 3-year-old girl. As Orange County reporter Greg Lee reports, the district attorney is trying to get that ruling overturned.
No normal adult who's not a pedophile has sexual thoughts about a toddler.
Orange County District Attorney Tony Rokakis taking the next step in the case of convicted child molester Kevin Rojano Nieto. Rokakis announced his office is appealing the decision of Superior Court Judge M. Mark Kelly to reduce Rojano Nieto's sentence to 10 years in state prison. In December, the 20-year-old was convicted of sodomizing a 3-year-old girl to whom he's related. Kelly called the mandatory minimum sentence of 25 to life cruel and unusual. The DA disagrees.
Like it or not, judges generally recognize that that's the law, that's the will of the people, and they're going to follow it.
Kelly's decision sparked outrage on social media and from the Orange County Board of Supervisors. 3 supervisors called for Kelly's resignation, threatening to launch a formal recall petition. Rokakis steered clear of that effort.
I think it's inappropriate to get the district attorney's office involved in that. That's a political matter separate from what we're doing here.
Rojano Nieto's attorney has said in the past he supports the judge's decision and welcomes an appeal. The Orange County Superior Court said it is their policy not to have judges comment on issues like this. Rokakis said if not overturned, this decision could impact the justice system as a whole.
What does it take to protect not only this victim, certainly this victim, in the future, and also other victims?
The district attorney says the formal appeal will take at least 6 months. Reporting in Santa Ana, Greg Lee, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
WikiLeaks has put the content from the Sony cyber attacking into a public online archive. The database includes more than 170,000 emails and 30,000 other documents exposed when Sony was hacked last year. Now it has all been put into an easily searchable format. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says the material shows the inner workings of an international company and thus belongs in the public domain. Sony issued a statement blasting the site for, quote, helping the hackers disseminate stolen information. And new at 7 o'clock, the LAUSD is trying to recover millions of dollars from Apple over the purchase of iPads. The LA Board of Education has authorized its attorneys to explore suing the technology giant and its subcontractor, Pearson. The LAUSD says the curriculum provided with the iPads has been plagued with problems, and the goal of providing a device to every student and teacher had to be abandoned. No response from Apple so far, but Pearson defended the product. The district claims the $1.3 billion iPad effort faltered as soon as it was launched in the fall of 2013.
A passionate protest outside Dominguez High School in Compton this morning. It was the students who were demonstrating. More than 200 students refused to go to class today. They're protesting what they call inadequate conditions at the school, and everything from tattered textbooks to teacher layoffs and pest problems, rats and cockroaches. Many students also say they don't have enough seats and desks, which school officials deny.
Every kid does not have a seat. Some of them are on the floor, some of them are on top of the tables. It's a safety hazard. We have chairs and we have desks. So anytime we put an extra student into a classroom, we add more chairs to that classroom.
School police were on hand for safety. The principal says despite being built in 1956, the school's in okay shape and improvements are being made. She also says she supports freedom of speech and students who protested won't be punished.
The fight to raise the minimum wage in Los Angeles brought about a dozen protesters to downtown LA's Grand Park today.
What do we want?
15!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
The demonstrators are calling for LA Mayor Eric Garcetti and the City Council to push for a $15 an hour minimum wage in Los Angeles. The current minimum wage in California is $9 an hour. Workers say they can't afford basic needs like housing, food, and child care. Many business owners say that they can't afford to increase wages that high and make ends meet themselves.
Still ahead, there are new questions about the credentials of the Oklahoma sheriff's deputy who accidentally shot and killed an unarmed suspect.
Plus, a postal worker accused of landing his gyrocopter on the Capitol lawn is out of jail. Details on the charges he's still facing.
Hello, I'm stuck in this plane.
And we're hearing the 911 call from an airport worker who was trapped in the cargo hold of a plane headed for LA.
A new twist in the case of an elderly Oklahoma sheriff's deputy who accidentally shot and killed an unarmed suspect this month. 73-year-old reserve deputy Robert Bates was charged with manslaughter Monday in the shooting death of 44-year-old Eric Harris. And now an investigation into his training. The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office says Bates' gun certification records are lost. The Tulsa World newspaper is reporting his records were falsified. The department will also conduct an internal review of its reserve deputy program. Bates claims he meant to use a taser on the suspect but fired his handgun instead.
Postal worker who flew a gyrocopter onto the lawn of the U.S. Capitol yesterday was in court today to face federal charges. This is we see new video of him flying into restricted airspace past security. ABC News' Jim Avila has more.
Tonight, still in his U.S. Postal Service jacket, the first glimpse of Doug Hughes, the pilot of that gyrocopter that landed right on the lawn of the Capitol. This new video shows him flying through what should be a no-fly zone, zooming past the World War II Memorial, over the heads of tourists, through the National Mall, and past the Washington Monument.
This is not good, people.
And now, serious questions about how Hughes dodged the nation's radar and missile security systems, starting his journey in Gettysburg, traveling the 80 miles to the National Mall in Washington, D.C., flying just 150 feet above ground at roughly 45 miles per hour. Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson admitting the pilot, quote, literally flew in under the radar. And from the White House, serious concern.
It may provide an opportunity for law enforcement agencies, including the Secret Service, to review their procedures.
The postal worker had made no secret of his brazen plans, shooting this video with his local newspaper, practicing his wobbly flight back home in Florida. Hughes himself said he put the authorities on notice before his stunt.
I don't believe that the authorities are going to shoot down a 60-year-old mailman in a flying bicycle.
The Secret Service says no one warned them specifically about yesterday's flight. As for the pilot, he was released from jail on the condition that he operates nothing that flies and stays away from the Capitol. Jim Avila, ABC News, Washington.
Well, let's talk about our weather because we were dealing with some winds the last couple of days. Those are dying down, but we aren't out of danger just yet. Here's Dallas Rains.
That's right, David and Ellen. And when you look at our map tonight, you can see the red flag warnings are still going up at Santa Clarita, western San Fernando Valley, and most of Ventura County. But we're almost there. At 8 o'clock tonight, we're going to drop those. They have already been discontinued down in Orange County and also out at Riverside. So again, we had another burst of Santa Ana winds early this morning. That gave us really hot temperatures today, 81 degrees, way above the 73. And if you've been wondering about our drought situation, I thought you might enjoy seeing this picture, these several pictures from Yosemite. From 2012, look at the amount of snow that we had in the Sierra. Then 2013, starting to dwindle. And by 2015, the latest picture, look at this. That's Half Dome, of course, up at Yosemite. There's practically any snow there at all. When we look at the computer modeling tonight, that big low, that dumped snow up in Utah yesterday is finally backing off, but a new low will be forming, and that's going to change the weather as we head toward the weekend. So today, light snow in Denver, 33 right now, and they had 22 inches of snow up at Snowbird, Utah, the day before yesterday. We're going to see a lot of clear skies tonight. Here are my forecast lows, 29 degrees tonight at Big Bear Lake. Still rather chilly up in the high desert, some of that cold air coming all the way down from Utah. So temperature Lancaster tonight, 38, 53 degrees at Encino. But highs tomorrow are still going to be warm. I like mid-80s, low to mid-80s out in the valleys tomorrow. Lots of sunshine. Down at the coastline, we'll start to get that sea breeze coming on shore. You'll feel it nicely at Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, and Dana Point tomorrow, but still inland areas of OC going up into the low to mid-80s tomorrow. 91 at Palm Springs. Let's check out that 7-day forecast, and here's how it reads tonight. Mostly clear. A red flag alert will be discontinued at 8 o'clock. 81 degrees tomorrow downtown. Just a tad cooler on Saturday, but then by Sunday, there's enough sea breeze blowing into Southern California that we actually have a little marine layer early in the mornings and beautiful weather. Then a new area of low pressure forms over Southern California next week. So I have a slight chance, it's not much, 20 or 30%, but temperatures much cooler, and our best chance of rain right now looks on day 7, where we may have as much as 50 or 60% chance of some rain in Southern California. Be nice after that dry Santa Ana wind. Wouldn't it, Ellen? 88 tomorrow. Then we're cooling, and by Sunday at the beaches, It's only 66 degrees. We stay cool all week, too, once we get into that new area of low pressure. Cold in the mountain areas again tonight and cool tomorrow, but a nice weekend coming in the mountains with Saturday and Sunday's temperatures up there in the mid-60s. That's going to feel great. High desert, 79 tomorrow, 82 for the weekend. So about another 35 minutes, we'll be able to drop that red flag.
That'll be good, Dallas.
It sure will, David.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. The 911 call from an airline worker trapped under the floorboards of a Los Angeles-bound Alaska Airlines flight was released this afternoon.
Flight 448, can you please show somebody stop it?
Where are you in a plane at?
I'm inside the plane, Alaska Airlines plane, flight 448.
The call is shedding light on the strange chain of events. ABC's Kana Whitworth has more on the man's frightening journey.
Time to power down your devices. Or maybe not. In the case of the Menzies aviation contract worker at SeaTac Airport in Seattle, the one who fell asleep in the cargo hold, the worker tells ABC News a bag fell on his head and he woke up terrified in pitch black. He used his cell phone to call 911.
Hello, I'm trapped in this plane.
The operator clearly confused but trying to help.
You're where? Are you at the airport?
I'm inside the plane. I feel like it's moving in the air.
He was right. The plane left Seattle and was headed to Los Angeles, gaining speed and altitude quickly.
Flight 448, can you please show somebody stop it?
The flight was in the air for 14 minutes.
Are you by yourself or are you with somebody?
Stop, please.
The plane is then out of range. The call drops. The operator quickly finds out who the phone belongs to and alerts Port of Seattle police, who were already aware of the problem.
We are actually getting an aircraft landing right now with an alert where we think someone is trapped in the baggage compartment.
Oh. Officials say despite this 911 call, the key factor in his rescue was the passengers on board. They were the ones who alerted the crew after they heard banging and screaming beneath them. In Los Angeles, Kana Whitworth, ABC News.
Airline passengers who struggle to stuff their carry-on bags into the overhead bins in airplanes may be getting some relief. Boeing provided this video showing its new larger luggage bins that can fit up to 6 standard-size bags. That's 2 more than the capacity right now. Larger bins are only being manufactured for Boeing's fleet of 737 jets. Delta and Alaska Airlines have already placed orders for the new spacious bins.
Well, I mean, people who already abuse the privilege bring even bigger bags
Put it in
on.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So to come, a new terror arrest, this time a man from Ohio. Hear what he's suspected of doing.
Also a big scare for one of the biggest bands in country music. When we return, we'll show you what happened right before a tour bus caught fire.
And a funny moment today on Capitol Hill. Wait until you hear the ringtone on the senator's cell phone. The tour bus for country group Lady Antebellum caught fire this morning on Interstate 30 near Dallas. Police say the driver stopped after a tire blew and the bus caught fire. Singer Hillary Scott, her husband, and their tour manager were on board during the fire. Scott posted a message on Instagram saying everyone is safe and sound. There were no injuries. The group was reportedly on their way to Dallas for the Academy of Country Music Awards.
You know that moment when your cell phone goes off and everyone hears your goofy ringtone? Well, it happens to United States senators, too.
Well as on the geographic preferences.
Come on. Just let it go, Mr.
That was Kansas Senator Pat Roberts' ringtone, Let It Go, from Frozen, interrupting Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack during a committee hearing on tariffs. 78-year-old senator later tweeted, somebody had to tell the Obama administration to let it go, hashtag for the grandkids.
All right.
It's your ringtone too, right?
Sure is. Love it. We're updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30. Also, see pictures of a man caught trying to cross the border in a car fuel tank.
Plus, an Eyewitness News exclusive, a massive gang sweep in response to a surge in deadly violence.
A private man-made lake surrounded by multi-million-dollar homes. I'm Eileen Frere in Mission Viejo. Officials are now trying to figure out what to do, faced with strict water restrictions.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news at 7:30. A manhunt is underway for suspects after a shooting spree in Palms. I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leyva in for Colleen Sullivan. This is Eyewitness News on LA56. One person is dead, another is in critical condition, and 3 others have been injured in the shootings, which took place at 3 separate crime scenes, all within minutes. First in a park at Woodbine Street and Mentone Avenue, another along Regent Street and Clarington Avenue, and a third at 7-Eleven at National Place and Overland Avenue. So far, no suspects are in custody. The investigation is ongoing.
Several Santa Ana fueled brush fires today. One of the largest was in Jurupa Valley, where one home was destroyed, several others damaged. In Whittier, about 3 acres were scorched near Colima Road. There were no injuries or damage to structures in that one. The winds have calmed down, but a red flag warning is still in effect for parts of Southern California until 8 o'clock tonight.
Battling back against gang violence, law enforcement carried out a massive gang sweep today in Santa Paula, following a surge of deadly disturbances in the city over recent years. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Starworth has the exclusive story.
Leo, I carry this in my drawer, and I look at it almost every day.
It's a picture of 21-year-old murder victim Ashley Moran. She was stabbed to death last year, and her body was found in Obregon Park in Santa Paula. A suspected gang member was arrested for the vicious murder.
She was murdered, and she was pregnant.
Moran's killing was one of 9 murders in Santa Paula in the last 2 years. Chief Steve McLean says each killing was gang-related, while many of those murdered, like Moran, were innocent victims. Fed up with such budding violence in his small community, Chief McLean called in federal law enforcement along with several police and sheriff department agencies to stage one of the largest raids on gangs in the city's history. The chief provided these pictures of the raid.
Today we sent a message: zero tolerance for gangbangers, period. From my perspective as chief, one gangbanger in Santa Paula is one too many.
During the raid, more than 30 homes were targeted, and the chief says nearly a dozen known gang members were arrested for parole violations and other crimes.
If I was a gang member, I'd look over my shoulder and I'd sleep with one eye open, because it's a matter of time before our SWAT team shows up in your living room. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. We're done.
The chief says his job is to prevent a few bad apples from destroying his city.
It's the environment of constant fear and intimidation that gang members create, to where you as a father say, I can't send my daughter to the local liquor store, or I can't go to the local park and play ball with my son. That crap's over.
Chief McLean says over the last year, his department has been able to lower violent crime by more than 20%, and he says to keep things moving in the right direction, gang members in this city need to be advised he'll call in his friends anytime he needs to. In Santa Paula, Leo Starworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
An American citizen has been critically injured in an apparent militant attack in Pakistan. Police say 55-year-old Deborah Lobo was shot twice in her car by 2 men on a motorcycle as she was leaving work this afternoon to pick up her husband and daughter. It happened in the South Port city of Karachi. The group who claimed responsibility for the attack reportedly scattered leaflets at the scene which read, "We will burn America." An investigation is undergoing. An Ohio man has been arrested on suspicion of plotting terror attacks in the U.S. Investigators say Abdirahman Sheikh Mahmoud underwent training with terrorists in Syria last year and then returned to the U.S. with plans to attack a military facility or prison. For now, he has been indicted on charges of providing support to an al-Qaeda affiliate in Syria.
Thousands of people joined the annual March of the Living in Poland today in memory of the victims of the Holocaust. Marchers walked 2 miles from Auschwitz, paying silent tribute to all those sent to their deaths in the Nazi camp complex. The march coincides with Israel's Holocaust Memorial Day. And here in Los Angeles, the Jewish Community Children's Choir took part in a Holocaust Remembrance Day at the Museum of Tolerance. The Holocaust Memorial Authority in Israel also posthumously honored a Hungarian couple who helped save the lives of a Jewish family by hiding them from the Nazis. Their children, who live in LA, accepted the award on behalf of their parents.
During the Holocaust period in Europe, risked their lives to save persecuted Jews. The Commission, therefore, has accorded them the Medal of the Righteous among the Nations.
David Siegel, the Consul General of Israel, says 6 decades after the Holocaust, it's important for the world to continue to fight anti-Semitism, discrimination, intolerance, and racism.
A man has been found hiding in a fuel tank at the El Centro border crossing. A Border Patrol dog picked up something as the car came through. An inspection uncovered the man, a Mexican national, in the tank under the back seat. He was taken into custody. So were 2 U.S. citizen adults in the car. Their 2 children were with them. They were released to a family member. And News 7, the LA City Commission delayed a decision of a proposed rule that would bar cab drivers from smoking inside their taxis. The rule would apply to tobacco and e-cigarettes Drivers wouldn't be allowed to smoke at any time, even if passengers are not around. The current rules allow drivers to smoke if the passengers give consent. Managers at taxi companies are asking for the rule changes to stay competitive with other services like Uber and Lyft.
Ongoing drought is making waves all across California, and that includes Lake Mission Viejo. It's a private lake in an exclusive part of Orange County, but it could soon see some changes. Orange County Bureau Chief Eileen Frere shows us why.
Lake Mission Viejo, a private lake created in the 1970s simply for recreation.
To me, it's paradise. Sitting out there in the middle of the lake in a boat.
80,000 people use it. Association members pay more than $200 a year for access.
Absolutely clear. You can see the fish in 15, 20 feet of water. So I love it.
The Lake Mission Viejo Association says bylaws require it to maintain fishing and swimming, but it's filled with drinkable water, and faced with severe water restrictions, it's got to find another way to get water. It loses nearly 5 feet a year due to evaporation. The association says it's working with the Santa Margarita Water District on 2 possible solutions. One, the association would pay for another area in the district to switch from using drinking water to recycled water for irrigation.
We would receive credit to continue to receive potable water for the lake.
But the association says it favors something else, building a plant to treat recycled water multiple times so it's safe for swimmers as well as fish.
The solution that we're excited about is the potential of this new treatment plant. It's expensive. It would cost $5 to $6 million, but it's a long-term solution.
The association's board of directors expects to make a decision within the next 60 days.
I hope they can find a solution to it. This is all we have.
Authorities say they are looking at grants and other forms of financing if the board chooses the new treatment plant option. In the meantime, the association has already taken out turf in its parking lot, replacing it with rock, drought-tolerant plants, and drip irrigation. They say that alone will save more than 1 million gallons of water a year. At Lake Mission Viejo, Eileen Frere, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Your ideas could help us others beat the drought, and we'd love to hear them. Join our circle of eyewitnesses and tell us what you're doing to save water. Just post on social media with the hashtag ABC7Drought or upload to the free ABC7 app.
Time is out with its list of the 100 most influential people. We'll show you a few who made the cut when we return.
Also, Ben & Jerry's making both beer lovers and ice cream lovers happy with their newest venture. We'll explain what they're concocting.
And later, a mother looks on in horror as her daughter is swept off a rock. See more of that incredible video as both women describe what was going through their minds at the time.
Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Dallas Race. We still have a red flag warning going. I'll tell you when we will discontinue that warning.
Actress and reality TV star Kim Richards was arrested this morning at the Beverly Hills Hotel. The 50-year-old Richards was taken into custody about 2 a.m. She was issued a citation for public intoxication, trespassing, resisting an officer, and battery on a police officer. She was released sometime after 10 a.m. Richards must appear in court May 10th.
Time magazine is out with its annual list of who it considers to be the 100 most influential people in the world. The issue has 5 separate covers, each featuring a member of the Time 100. Singer Kanye West, ballet dancer Missy Copeland, actor Bradley Cooper, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and journalist and Univision news anchor Jorge Ramos.
One thing that we really try to do with the list to make it varied and interesting from year to year is to think about not just the people who are kind of blanket influential, but also the people whose influence is really rising.
That list includes presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and potential candidate Jeb Bush. Other notables to make the list: Kanye's wife, reality TV star Kim Kardashian West, also singer Taylor Swift, comedian Kevin Hart, Pope Francis, and President Obama.
Ben & Jerry's is known for its influential creative ice cream concoctions, and now the ice cream makers are taking combinations to a whole new level. They're teaming up with a brewery to make an ice cream-inspired beer. Ben & Jerry's will be collaborating with Colorado's New Belgium Brewery to make a salted caramel brownie beer. The beer is set to hit store shelves this fall, and so far there are no plans to make a beer-flavored ice cream.
Thank goodness. Up next, the winds have died down a bit this evening. Dallas Rains is tracking our complete forecast.
Also, the Clippers talk about their first-round playoff matchup against the San Antonio Spurs.
And later, Jedis in training flocked to Anaheim today for the Star Wars celebration. And they got a special treat when the trailer for the next movie was released, and we'll show it to you. Woman is lucky to be alive after a huge wave knocked her off a cliff on an Irish island and sent her plunging onto rocks below. Her frightening experience was caught on video. Wow. Well, the 21-year-old woman was taking cell phone video of the view. Her parents watched the whole thing happen.
The water cushioned my fall, so when I finally fell, the impact wasn't as great as it could have been. And next to me there was a boulder, and I held on to it.
Most terrifying moment of my life, when I see the huge wave coming, and my daughter shouting, "Mommy," and I just look back and she's not there.
Thankfully, paramedic Seamus McCarthy was there. He fashioned a rope from a jacket and a backpack and pulled her to safety. 21-year-old student has a broken ankle, some cuts and bruises, but is otherwise fine.
Can't underestimate Mother Nature.
Exactly.
That's always the message there. Dallas Raines joins us right now to talk about our weather. The winds are still blowing, Dallas.
That's right, David. We've really backed off a lot tonight, and I think what we're going to do here in about the next 10 minutes or so is drop this red flag warning. Thank goodness we've already dropped them down in Riverside and portions of Santa Ana. Again, the wind velocities are dropping down below 35, 25 miles per hour, and that's the good news. Looks like this event is about over 81 degrees today. Downtown Los Angeles, that's way above normal for this time of the year because we have those strong Santa Ana winds. Taking a look at the drought situation back in 2012, Yosemite, Half Dome. Look at all the snow that was there. And then as the years went by, 2014, very little snow. And here we are in 2015, very little snow up in the Sierra. Low pressure now moving off to the east, making a trek toward Oklahoma and Texas. So that's going to mean for us less wind, much better weather. But a new area of low pressure will be forming by Sunday, and that area of low pressure is going to generate some low clouds and fog. Satellite shows the snow that came down today up in Denver as that low pressure located right there, right over the Four Corners area. And for us, we're under the influence of this big dome of high pressure that's building in. But the pressure gradient, the difference between air pressure over distance, is beginning to really widen out, and that means the winds are backing down. Here are the low temperatures tonight. Barstow, up in the high desert, 51. It's cold up in the Palmdale area tonight. Again, upper 30s and low 40s. 55 down at Inglewood tonight. I don't have any marine layer clouds for you. Every once in a while, a little burst of Santa Ana winds, but nothing really strong. And as I mentioned, that red flag alert will be discontinued. We have another warm day tomorrow, though, with 85 at Simi. If you're viewing from out at Northridge, 88 degrees for you tomorrow. Pasadena, about 84, 85, and 87 at Riverside. Let's roll that 7-day forecast. Big changes are coming. Clear skies tomorrow, 81. Then 79 on Saturday. The weekend right now looks like a beautiful weekend in Southern California. But with that sea breeze coming in on Sunday, we'll have some marine layer clouds and temperatures start to fall. Now, next week, that area of low pressure promises at least a slight chance of a shower. We're going to go with about 20%, 30% probability of a few scattered showers. Maybe a little bit better chance on Thursday, but certainly notice the change in temperatures from 75 at the beaches tomorrow all the way down to 63 as we get into next week. Of the weekend days, if you're going to the beach, Saturday is your best day with mostly sunny skies, 72, and then cooler with that sea breeze and some marine layer clouds on Sunday. Now to the mountain areas. It's going to warm up, but it's going to take one more day to do it. 58 tomorrow, and then 63 and 65 over the weekends at Big Bear Lake. How about that high desert forecast? 79, nice and warm, 82, 82. Then some cooler weather next week. That's it from the Weather Center. At least David and Ellen, all of the red flag warnings will go away in just a few minutes.
That's good news.
Yeah. That's good news tonight, isn't it?
You bet.
Sure is.
All right. Thank you, Dallas. The Clippers may have won more games than the Spurs this season, and they are a higher seed in the playoffs, but the odds makers aren't impressed. They favored the defending champs in 7-game series that begins Sunday night at Staples Center. The two teams split 4 games during the regular season, and both clubs head into round 1 with plenty of momentum. Each team finished the regular season by winning 14 of their last 16 games. The Clippers say they are ready for an experienced Spurs team that is used to thriving in the playoffs.
I'm sure it's a huge advantage. They got a lot of championships, played a lot more postseason games than us. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's a laundry list of things that they've done more than us. They've seen every single situation possible, so I think having that experience always helps, but I think we'll get from there.
I think every coach in the league wants to be like Pop, players want to be like Mike, we want to be like Pop, so yeah, that's the way it should be done. You got to have a lot of respect for him.
The Lakers' terrible season has mercifully ended, and it was the worst in franchise history. 21 wins, 61 losses. Today, Coach Byron Scott and General Manager Mitch Kupchak spoke to the media. Both men realize fans want to know when will all the losing end.
We have great fans, to a great degree. They are patient, but I don't think anybody's used to waiting a long time for a turnaround, and that's a factor that we have to weigh into our decision.
I'm patient. Like I said, as long as they're patient, I'm patient. But I think we all want to see progress.
There's no way to etch a plan in stone that you can execute. We don't even know who's going to be in the draft, and we don't even know which free agents are going to be free agents.
The Lakers finished the season with the fourth worst record in the league. They'll have a 12% chance of winning the NBA lottery.
Homeless man in Florida has a fresh start thanks to an old bank account he forgot existed. 62-year-old John Helinski tried to get into a shelter but didn't have any ID. That's when a caseworker and police went on a mission to track down his birth certificate and get him a driver's license and Social Security card. Then they discovered an old bank account that had been collecting Social Security benefits without his knowledge for years.
I guess I'm exhilarated, excited,
I think we're both stunned. Not quite sure what to say.
No word on exactly how much money is in the account, but we do know it was enough for Helinski to buy permanent housing.
Take a look at the estimated $50 million worth of silver coins recovered from a sunken ship in the Atlantic. 100 tons of silver Indian rupees were on board the British passenger ship SS City of Cairo when a German U-boat sank it in 1942. The salvage company Deep Ocean Search found the ship 4 years ago at nearly 17,000 feet below the surface. The company announced the results of its completed salvage operation this week. The coins have been melted and the silver has been sold.
Wow.
$50 million worth.
Unbelievable. More news straight ahead here at 7:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Much more on our breaking story, the search for suspects after a series of shootings leaves one person dead, at least 3 others injured in Palms. Plus, we're on the red carpet with Russell Crowe for the Hollywood premiere of his new film, The Water Diviner. These stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. London is preparing for the birth of the newest royal. Signs that something special is about to happen have popped up outside the hospital where the Duchess of Cambridge will deliver her second child. We're told Prince William and Kate want to avoid the media circus that surrounded the birth of Prince George almost 2 years ago. Authorities have added media restrictions. The couple hasn't disclosed the due date or gender, but special dates to know. The Queen's birthday is April 21st. The couple's 4th wedding anniversary is April 29th.
From a galaxy far, far away to right here in our own backyard, Jedi's Sith, I think? I don't know.
Sith?
Sith? Thank you.
What kind of nerd are you?
Apparently not a great one. Wookiees, Ewoks, they have descended upon the Anaheim Convention Center for a Star Wars convention. And as Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes shows us, the Force is most definitely with them.
Don't come to the Anaheim Convention Center expecting a generic convention. Nope, that would be a Wookiee move. Because this is Star Wars Celebration Anaheim. 4 days of all that is Star Wars, from Tatooine to Tatooing. There are countless Star Wars characters, some hideous, others not hideous. And of course you'll find stormtroopers, standard ones, Disney ones, even formal ones.
I grew up with it. When I was 7, that movie came out, and it's just, you know, movie after movie, just generations, and so we figured we'd come out here and see what the celebration's all about.
But as if having thousands of Star Wars fans crammed into their own mini-universe isn't enough, the new Star Wars trailer was officially unveiled, sending shockwaves through the crowd.
That was unreal. That trailer was that was incredible. That was phenomenal. I'm getting geek bumps right now.
What was your reaction when you saw it?
Screaming. It was so awesome.
Some here clearly overwhelmed by the experience. Understandable considering the impact the Star Wars franchise has had on so many lives over the past 38 years.
Everybody just loves Star Wars so much. I mean, my dad, he got me hooked on it when I was really young, so second generation of Star Wars.
Getting around Star Wars Celebration made even harder when director J.J. Abrams hit the floor signing autographs.
We're looking forward to the show. Right on. I hope you like it.
As many as 100,000 people are expected to show up between now and Sunday. So if you're coming, wear comfortable shoes and get here early. That'll give you some time to catch your breath. In Anaheim, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
If you go to the Star Wars Celebration, we want to see your pictures and videos. Remember, just post them on social media with the hashtag ABC7 Eyewitness.
Today is National High Five Day, and from celebrating sporting events to spreading some cheer, who doesn't like a high five? The Celebrity Day began in 2002 at the University of Virginia when a group of students set up a lemonade stand on campus and began giving people high fives. By the way, the high five we found out was invented by Glenn Burke and Dusty Baker of the LA Dodgers back in 1977. So to execute the perfect high five, aim for the person's elbow and not their hand, and you'll never miss. So are we going to do it or what?
LA was an origin of the high five,
yes,
right?
LA's cool once again.
I sure
am.
That wasn't bad. Try it again. One more time.
Now you got to get me this time.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Have a great night.
This is ABC7 weather with Dallas rain.
All right, that big low pressure making its way across Colorado tonight. It's been a cold one, too. It's been snowing up over Utah and Colorado. But for us in Southern California, it has been responsible for these strong, gusty Santa Ana winds, which have ended. So for today, we're going to still have some warm weather around, but all of the red flag alerts have been discontinued. Simi Valley, 85. Fillmore today, 84. You'll notice it'll be cooler along the coast up in Ventura County as well as Redondo Beach. Only 75 degrees today, 85, 10 degrees warmer out at Ontario, and 91 out at Palm Springs. It's time. Look at that 7-day forecast. We have some changes coming in the weather in Southern California. So